The AP History long essay question. Let's be real, just hearing those words can bring on a cold sweat. But what if I told you there's a formula, a point-by-point roadmap to absolutely acing it? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down right now.
Do you know that feeling, right? The clock's ticking, that prompt is just staring you down, and your mind goes completely blank. That where do I even begin feeling? Yeah, we have all been there. But you know what? That panic, it ends right here.
So what's the secret weapon? It's not some crazy trick. It's the official rubric. Seriously. And I want you to stop thinking of it as this scary grading sheet. Instead, think of it like a treasure map. Every single point on there is like a big X marking the spot. And if we just follow the map, we're going to get to that top score. So, you ready? Let's take that first step.
Okay, so first things first. Just like building a house, you've got to have a solid foundation. And for the LEQ, that foundation is built on two absolutely crucial points you can get right at the start: your thesis and your contextualization. Nail these two, and trust me, you are already well on your way. First up, the thesis. This might be the single most important sentence in your entire essay. I'm not kidding. See, it's not enough to just, answer the prompt. You have to make what they call a historically defensible claim. And this is the key part: establish a clear line of reasoning. Basically, it's your whole argument boiled down into one super powerful sentence.
Okay, look at this. This slide breaks it down perfectly. On the right, you see the bad example. Reconstruction changed the South. I mean, yeah, duh. That's a fact, not an argument. That's going to get you a big fat 0 points for the thesis. But now look to the left. The good one? It makes a specific claim that it successfully established amendments, and it tells you why, because of federal legislation and activism. See the difference? That's a top-tier thesis.
So, let's talk about the common traps people fall into, because I want you to dodge these. Vague statements, forget about them. They get you nowhere. And please, 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 don't hide your thesis in the last paragraph. Put it right up front in the introduction. But the biggest mistake? Forgetting that because part. That's your line of reasoning. Without it, you don't really have an argument. So just remember, be clear, be upfront, and be specific. Okay, you want a pro tip? A little formula to make this whole thing foolproof? Check this out. It's the despite X, Y is true because of A and B formula. This thing is genius. The despite X part, that forces you to show nuance. The Y is true part, that's your clear argument. And the because of A and B, bam, there's your line of reasoning. Just plug your ideas into this, it's a total game changer. All right, thesis is locked and loaded. Now for that second foundational piece, contextualization. Think of it like the opening scene of a movie. You're setting the stage. You need to describe what was going on before the main action of the prompt. What's the bigger picture here? What led up to this moment? That's what contextualization is all about. And again, let's look at a good versus bad example. The bad one says, the Columbian Exchange happened in the 16th century. Okay, and? So what? But look at the good example. It actually connects the Columbian Exchange to something bigger, the reshaping of the global economy, the linking of continents. Now that sets a scene. It creates a rich backdrop that helps us understand everything that's about to happen in your essay. Okay, so our foundation is solid. Thesis, check. Context, check. Now it's time to actually build the house, the main structure of your argument. This is all about your body paragraphs, where you use your evidence and your reasoning to prove that awesome thesis you wrote. I want you to burn this number into your brain. 2. That's it, just the number 2. To get the points for evidence, you need to provide a minimum of 2 specific, relevant pieces of historical evidence. Not 1, 2. These are like the pillars holding up the roof of your argument. You need at least 2 or the whole thing comes crashing down. And when it comes to evidence, specificity is everything. Look at the bad example. There were treaties and religious changes in Europe. I mean, come on, that's so vague, it's almost meaningless. But now, check out the good example. We're talking the Edict of Nantes, with the date, explaining what it did. The Peace of Westphalia. That is the kind of concrete evidence that shows you know your stuff. Okay, but here's a huge warning. A classic rookie mistake I see all the time. You can't just evidence drop. You can't just list a bunch of cool facts and walk away, expecting the grader to connect the dots. Nope, that is your job. Which brings us to the next absolutely vital step. This is all about analysis and reasoning. It's where you explain the significance of your evidence. So this example here is perfect. It doesn't just state the fact, silver came from the Americas.
It explains the so what. It caused inflation in Europe. It fueled more expansion. And then it connects it all back to the big idea, the global impact of trade. That, my friends, is analysis.
So here's the golden rule. The one question you need to ask yourself constantly. After every single piece of evidence you use, stop and ask, so what? Why does this matter? Your answer to that question is your analysis. It's the magic ingredient that connects your evidence back to your thesis.
All right, so at this point, we've built a really solid essay. We've got the foundation, we've got the argument, it's a good essay. But how do we take it from good to great? We go for the final boss, the most advanced point on the rubric, the complexity point.
So what in the world is complexity? Basically, it's you showing off your big brain historical thinking. You're moving beyond a simple this caused that argument. You're digging into the nuance, maybe you're pointing out a contradiction, or making a really cool connection to a different time period. You're showing the grader that you understand that history is messy. It's almost never just black and white.
And listen, you can't just say Reconstruction was complicated and expect to get the point. You have to show how it was complicated. In this example, it's perfect. It shows both sides. It talks about the successes, like the new laws, but also the major limitations, like white supremacist resistance. And then, for the knockout punch, it connects that whole struggle to a later time period, the Jim Crow era. Now that's demonstrating complexity. Want another one of those little hacks? Start using words like although or while in your sentences. Seriously, just weaving those words in forces you to think about two sides of an issue. It automatically builds a more complex, more sophisticated argument, which is exactly what the readers want to see.
All right, we have literally walked through the entire rubric from the ground up. So let's wrap this all up. Let's do a quick final checklist that you can keep in your back pocket for when you're practicing and especially for exam day.
Okay, here we go. Your LEQ game plan. Number 1, start with a killer, defensible thesis with a clear because statement. Number 2, immediately set the scene with some juicy historical context. 3, hit him with at least 2 pieces of specific, concrete evidence. 4, for every piece of evidence, explain the so what, that's your reasoning. And finally, number 5, go for the gold by adding some nuance to snag that complexity point. You do those 5 things, and you're not just writing an essay, my friend. You are building a top-scoring argument.
So, there you have it. That's the roadmap. It's all laid out for you. Every single one of these points is totally within your reach. It just takes a little practice. So the real question is, which one are you going to tackle first? Which point are you going to absolutely master? Your journey to crushing the LEQ starts right now.